Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Wednesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. I am your host, Chat Daddy. Glad to be here with you guys on a beautiful Wednesday evening here in the Chicagoland area. We're still experiencing extremely hot temperatures, but it is July, and we are expecting weather like this for the next couple of days. Supposed to cool off here in the Chicagoland area over the weekend. I want to remind you guys to stay hydrated as you are also social distancing, wearing a mask, sanitizing, and doing all the things to keep your healthy and safe during this global pandemic. You guys all know that the coronavirus, and we're just trying to do everything we can to keep you guys safe. If you are in the Chicagoland area and you're in need of a treatment center, please stop. Please join for the direct to a treatment center. It is mandatory that you wear your mask and social distance at the treatment center. But if you are in need of this situation, that you cannot get the police services, police services, all right, so as you guys all know, this time of July is celebrated. How is this July? The each night I put my face of the fascinating people, conversation, couldn't believe this shout out to everybody who's a part of the night. So it's done a great job. This is the most good the kid. I think it's a good right there. And this is this is a conversation about Black lives. And it was just the most fascinating, debating conversation ever. And so part two of that conversation was next Tuesday, and we'll be at a people. There were a couple of guys that I contacted today about next Tuesday show. I promise you I will. There's a lot going on today. Everything from death to illness to you name it. It's just been a really weird day. But I'm here tonight to do another great show for you. Coming up on tonight's show, we have a wonderful guest co-host who's been here with us before. She recently celebrated her birthday, so I thought I'd have her back tonight so we could celebrate her birthday as well as go over hot topics. Tonight, I'll introduce you to two women who are really on the rise when it comes to their literary work. We have author Joyce A. Brown. She's a motivational speaker and author. Her new book is Winter's Lament. And when I tell you it's a page turner, it's a really great book. We'll talk to her tonight just about life during COVID, what inspired her to write her book, and we'll get into her book as well too. And then later on the show, we'll welcome minister, mentor, and author of the highly spirited book, The Kingdom's Playlist. And it's a 31-day devotional guide to help Christian millennials. But even if you're not a millennial, you probably could use her advice and guidance and help as well too. So she'll be here with us, and she's Audrey Todd. So we're looking forward to her being a part of the show. Our guest co-host tonight is my good friend, the one and only Miss Genia Harley. And Genia has been around me forever. She's an educator, a mentor, a mom, a wife, all of that great stuff. But most importantly, Genia just celebrated a birthday. What up, boo? How are you?
Thank you. Happy birthday to me. Yay.
Yay. What's going on, Genia? How you doing?
Nothing. I'm blessed. I'm happy.
Good. Happy belated
living.
birthday. Huh?
I said 50 and living.
Honey, 50 and fabulous is what you need to be saying. You look great, your skin, your hair, everything. So,
Thank you.
in this day and age, to make 50 is probably one of the most incredible things ever, because so many people are leaving this earth during this global pandemic we're in. There are also people that are leaving from heart attacks, accidents, cancer, things like that. Last night, I lost a high school colleague that just has shocked not only the city of Chicago, but the nation, a very popular young man. And then there was a story yesterday in the news of a lady, 96 years old, that ended up being stabbed with a pitchfork. I ended up knowing the family that was involved in that. I grew up with that family. So it just, it's one tragedy after another. So we've got to thank God that we are alive, that we're healthy, and all that good stuff. And I understand your daughter and your husband had a parade for you.
They did. I had a surprise drive by, quite a few friends and some coworkers and people I haven't seen in years. My daughter asked me for my phone, and she just took it from
She
there.
did. She did. She did a great job. If I hadn't had a
Yeah,
family funeral, I would have been a part of that parade. And
I know.
from what I saw on social media, my dear, it was as big as the Bud Billiken Day parade. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Did I see people flipping and tumbling and juking and bucking, and oh, maybe I was looking at the wrong parade, but it seemed to be a beautiful birthday
It
parade.
was.
So
It
deserved.
was. It was. Thank you. Yeah, it was. It was really nice. I had planned to have a party, like a big party,
Yeah.
and so we'll do it next year.
Yes, absolutely. Right. I think we'll all be doing something next year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Right. So we just have got to, again, stay faithful and do the right things and protect ourselves. So
that's
how
right.
have you and the family been doing since our last conversation? Are you guys still social distancing and staying safe? I know your husband's
Yeah.
still working from home and you're,
Yes.
working. So how's that all working out?
Oh, it's going good. It's going really good. The only thing that has changed, Madison started dance. So, she's up at the high school and they've been doing practices. They're doing outside. They're doing social distancing. They get the temperature checks. They, she goes with a big old gallon jug of water, and they just do what they do outside in the, in the elements. But it's been working so far.
Okay.
No, I mean, we haven't, we have yet to go and sit inside of a restaurant, and eat.
Right.
But really just going to the grocery store, run to the drugstore, whatever. Total, not a lot of visiting. She's seen some of her friends and things, but not too much.
Yeah, very limited on a lot of things. Well,
Yeah.
I have stepped out of my comfort zone. I've done 2 patio dining experiences.
Hmm.
Both restaurants did an extraordinary job of the social distancing. All the wait staff had on gloves and masks, and it just felt good to be in a restaurant and say, "Yes, I'll have another drink."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I get that. So, but I've only done the, patio thing and takeout, before, but that's about it. And I'm pretty much like you, other than the grocery store
Yeah.
and, to get a little exercise, I'm still stuck in the house. So,
That's right.
yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, Genia, I want to talk about some of the top news stories tonight. And I'm so glad you were able to be here with us. Our original co-host, he had a change of plans. And I was like, let me get the birthday girl to hang out.
Yeah. Thank you.
My pleasure, and it's an honor as always. So, Illinois reported 36 new deaths from COVID-19 as of today, as well as 980 new confirmed cases. The total of new confirmed cases is the highest it has been in more than a month. Since the 1,156 new cases that was announced around June 5th. And so, Genia, we had thought we would see a decline in new cases, but unfortunately, we are seeing a rise in our cases. We're at stage 4 here in Illinois,
Yeah.
at 50% capacity, where
Yeah.
we're able to do a few more things. I was looking at Windy City Live last night where Val Warner and Ryan were talking. They were having their host chat, and Val was saying, out on the south side and on the west side, people act like it's every day. But then I was up in Boys Town, Lincoln Park. People were walking around like it was every day. I don't know if people get the severity of this and wearing the mask and doing the right things. What do you think?
No, I agree. I agree. I'll have to say that I give a lot of credit to Governor Pritzker. I give a lot of credit to Governor Cuomo and those governors that just stayed the course when, we had our president and some other governors, as we can see in Arizona, Texas, South Carolina, Florida, Georgia. And now they've had an explosion. They opened up too soon. So I appreciate the fact that we, as they say, slow and steady wins the race. And I think that we just need to continue to listen to the medical professionals and just kind of stay the course.
I agree with you 100%. We're actually, you and I are going to talk a little bit about the president wanting schools to open back up. And here
Yeah.
you are a part of the school system. And so, that's a whole nother can of worms, as well as you have a high school student that, as you said, she's back doing practice. They're out on a field in open space. But then there's going to be some point where they'll have to go into a locker room, a library, classrooms, so we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Well, Governor J.B. Pritzker said on Wednesday, which is today, he is calling for a national mask mandate. He is saying that everybody in the country should wear a mask. As you guys all know, number 45, our current president, he has not worn a mask but one time. And that was when he was inside a factory and somebody got that one picture of him, but he has not worn a mask at all. He had that rally in Tulsa a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
Tulsa is seeing a high number of corona cases. And so I don't know. The mask thing, look, baby, I ain't got no problem with it. Matter of fact, people are gifting me masks now. People are dropping masks off to me. And can you read it? You see what it says?
No.
It says, bitch, I am still fabulous. See what I'm saying? Right. So it's right. I'm still fabulous. That's what it said. Look, the white light, it said, bitch, I am still fabulous. Right. So, thank you, Allison Rush, for this wonderful mask. I appreciate it so much. People are gifting me masks now because I want them to match my outfit. You know what I'm saying? So, but what do you think about a national mandate? Because here's the deal. You cannot get on public transportation, an airline or a bus or a train and not have on a mask. You can't go in any stores, things like that. Do you think a national mandate of everybody wearing a mask will work? I know it's going to be some haters and some people that won't follow rules, but I think if it helps to, curb this virus, it would help.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, no, I do. And why he won't say it, I don't know. I mean, his son, what was that, Don Jr.?
Yes.
His girlfriend, Kimberly Guilfoyle, who was at Fox News at one point. She was tested positive a few days ago. So I don't know. I mean, it's one of those situations where I think that it just feels like our president is wanting to give people a false sense of comfort or something, which then will propel them to put pressure on business leaders and business owners or something to open, and then people will spend money and then it stimulates the economy. But, it's very, very false. And I don't know. And it's a shame that I think he takes those people and their, kind of psychological space. He takes that for granted. You know what I'm saying? It's really, really, it's dangerous. And we see, I mean, by the fact that those governors in those states chose to listen and say, oh, yeah, we have to open. We got to get business going. And now we see, I mean, they had 30,000 cases?
Yeah.
However many states.
Right.
Just in a 24-hour period. So, I mean, and mind you, you had the same governors like in Florida, DeSantis, you had Abbott in Texas who were looking at Cuomo, and let alone might have been even looking at Pritzker, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you, kind of stalling business? Get open, get open, get open. And now we see what's happening.
I agree. And here's the deal. Any store that I've gone into recently that had been closed down due to the pandemic, let's say, i.e. your Ross, your TJ Maxx, Marshalls, any of those type of stores, there's nothing in those stores right now. So I don't understand what he means stimulate the economy. The only stores that I know that have current trendy things that are in stock would be a Target, a Walmart, Myers, stores that stayed open during this whole pandemic because they were able to get fresh inventory in. I went into a Ross a couple of weeks ago with a friend, and really I thought I was at a damn flea market. That's how bad it was in the store. And the girl was like, well, we got to get rid of all of this stuff before they'll let us get new stuff.
Before they get new inventory.
I'm thinking to myself, sweetie, don't nobody want all this flea market mess in here. Most
Yeah.
people came in the store and walked out. They were like, I don't get this. So,
Yeah.
I don't, there are certain things that just probably will not come back right away. United Airlines just announced today that they will be laying off, 30,000 employees
Yes.
as of October. And we're
Yes.
looking at the travel industry where they actually received, $50 billion or
Yes.
yeah, so I don't know. This is going to be really interesting to see how all of this unfolds.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Let's continue on with our hot topic. So Donald Trump, number 45, is pushing for the nation's schools to reopen this fall. Our
Mm-hmm.
mayor in the city of Chicago, Mayor Lori Lightfoot, she said she wants to leave that up to the local schools to make that decision.
Right.
Junior, you are in academics, and how's your whole take on this? And I know you're ready to get back to make the money, the check, everything, but we are in the midst of a global pandemic right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It was interesting because on my page, I posted I don't know who wrote it, but if it was anonymous or not, but it was seemingly from a teacher's perspective. And she just kind of was giving a whole kind of like a walkthrough almost in her words of what the first day of school would look like. And she pointed out about, what is it like when a kid gets on the bus? What is it like? And then the kid's getting on the bus, and he hasn't had his temperature checked. And
Right.
some parents who will send their kid to school, just, it's like, hey, you got a sniffle. I need you to go because I have to go to work. So, I mean, there's all these different factors that come into play in terms of, kids actually going back to school. But she also pointed out, well, how does sanitation work? When kids are switching, classes like in high school, like where I work, what does that look like? Like, is the teacher having to take, disinfectant spray? Are we, using wipes? Are we wiping down all the desks? I mean, what does that look like? And then if you have lower level children, say kindergarten to, let's just say maybe fourth grade, those children will have difficulty keeping a mask on all day. I mean, that's just the reality. They are not going to keep a mask on from, 7:30 in the morning when they hit the building until, let's just say, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Honey,
What
I'm
happens?
4, I'm 5 decades older than them children and have a hard time keeping my mask on. So
Exactly. So, I mean, there are several factors that go into play when you think about what happens in a day when you are indoors and you have hundreds of people. We're talking about hundreds. You know, any given day, most high schools, public high schools, have anywhere, I'd say, let's start at about 1,000 people in one building in an enclosed space. So, some school districts have chosen to give parents and students like a survey to say, hey, what do you feel comfortable with? Do you feel comfortable going back to school for 2 days? Because the thing about it is, Art, it is important, especially with them starting a new school year, and kids are starting a new grade. Okay, so it's very important to start in person in instruction,
right,
where the teacher and the student are in the same space, and then the learning is absorbed, so to speak. Teaching, the learning is absorbed. However, again, taking into account a pandemic, a virus, a highly contagious virus, I don't know how that works, because all it's going to take is one case,
yep, yep.
one person to come to school. And I mean, we don't want to say it's going to happen, but I mean, what's the probability of that? You know what I'm saying? And there's somebody who can calculate that that's smarter than me and you.
Right. Well, I'm so old school, Genia. I was just thinking about you as the educator and the young people doing a book report, them handing you the book report, you having to take it back to your desk and grade it. I guess all of that would have to change, because if not, you'd be collecting the book report with a gloves on, with a mask, even when you're grading the book report. So I guess like now they would have to email everything to you all. And I guess
Yes.
they're doing
Yes.
that now. Maybe, I'm old school.
Yes.
I'm used to the
Yeah, I mean,
spiral.
because right, and that goes back to what I said about the lower grades, because you have younger children who are learning how to just write. You think about in kindergarten,
Right.
first grade, they're learning their letters, and they're learning how to draw and those kind of things, and a lot of that is manual. It's like you said. I mean, you're taking a piece of paper, a pencil, and we're exchanging papers, we're exchanging crayons, we're exchanging
Mhm.
markers and paint utensils, and it's just it's a very touchy feely environment. That's how that
Mhm.
school is designed, in terms of the learning environment.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I'm sure as the month goes on and we get closer to August, I will probably be having more in-depth conversations
Yes.
here on the show about what will school actually look like this coming fall. A lot of the universities are going to stick with the online learning.
Yes.
A lot of the universities, if they do in person, it's limited. I know quite a few people are very excited to send their young people off to college for the first time, and
Right.
but to me, there's still a lot of fear and apprehension,
Right.
about, moving forward at this particular point. And then from what Dr. Fauci has been saying, we're going to
Yes.
see a huge resurgence in cases, and we are seeing a rise now. And supposedly warm weather was going to kill this virus,
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
So
That's
to me,
right.
it's all hogwash. Well,
That's
all right.
right.
Let's continue to move on. Speaking of school, I know this is a weird flip in stories, but Mary Kay Letourneau, a Seattle teacher who had been convicted in 1997 of raping a 13-year-old
Yeah.
student that she later married, died of cancer at the age of 58. And I
Yeah.
know a lot of you guys are probably saying, Mary Kay Letourneau, yes, she was the woman who engaged in a sexual act with her 13-year-old
Yep.
student. She ended up going to jail for quite a while. She and the student, let me go back a little bit. She was 34 years old.
Yep.
She gave birth to her husband, or the young man's child, before she served a 7-year prison sentence, and it was related to a rape charge because he was such a young
Yes.
at the time. The couple later had a second child. She
Yep.
got married in 2005 after her release from prison, and her husband filed for legal separation in 2017, just before their 12th year anniversary. Now,
Wow.
look,
And the thing about it is she was married. She was married and had
yeah,
children prior.
yes. Now
Yes.
I'm not against a May-December relationship, but that's just nasty and downright
Yes.
freakish that you
Yes.
look at even a 13-year-old in that manner and
Yes.
leave your husband. And I'm trying to figure out, like, what would this 13-year-old be able to offer you of
Yeah.
any quality and substance? I'm not against the May-December thing. You know what I'm saying? But
Well, you know what? If people go back,
legal and got a job and a social security card and all of that.
mm-mm.
All of that.
Uh-uh. No, no, and you know what? It was funny because I wonder, I'm sure there's a whole psychological breakdown in terms of whatever was going on with her to even like go there. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
I don't know if you remember, she had an interview with Barbara Walters.
Mm-hmm.
She said something about how they had this connection, as she called it. And I was just kind of like, So I don't know.
I don't either, but I just know anytime you don't spend time in prison, you've had 2 children by this man, you all get married, and just a little bit before your 12th year wedding anniversary, this man asked for a legal separation. There's a lot
Yeah.
of issues going on with this, but she is now dead. God rest her soul. 58 years old. She passed away over the weekend from cancer. So, we'll just leave that where it's at. But that's just a crazy little story in itself. Genia, I want to
Yeah.
talk real quick. You are the mother of a wonderful teenager who is out there doing the doggone thing, just as beautiful as she wants to be.
Thank you.
Marissa Martin, the young lady who plays Diane Johnson on the ABC comedy series.
Yeah, Diane.
Yes. She also starred in the film Little.
Right.
Recently was on social media. People were ripping her because they were saying that her hair looked like a grandma wig. They thought she had veneers in her mouth. Oh, it was a whole big
What was
hoopla
this?
last couple of weeks on social media. And so she kind of got on social media and was like, I cannot believe you guys would come after me. This is not a grandma wig. She was pulling her hair to prove that it was her real hair, much like I have to do. She took her Invisalign out of her mouth to say, this is not a veneer. This is, my retainer that's in my mouth. And so she was like, I don't know why people are just coming for me like this. I'm young. I'm just trying to make my way in this world. And she went to pretend like she was crying, grabbed $100 bill and blew her nose in it. And in other words, I'm rich, bitches. Right. To let y'all know, and so I just feel so bad that people want to come after our young people, and as a mother, what do you tell your daughter not to fall into that, ugly world of social media and not enough likes and love and acceptance?
I would say that. Well, you know what? I am guilty of teasing. Sometimes I tease her, and I do certain things that I probably shouldn't do.
Uh-huh.
But again, I'm her mom. I think you want to keep them level headed. You don't want your kid, I think, to be big headed. They can be very smart. They can, you want your kid to have some humility. I'll put it that way.
Right.
But I don't think that we need to attack our own, and I mean specifically Black children, especially ones like her that are extremely talented, extremely intelligent, and will grow up to do great things, and will grow to possibly, put money in other people's pockets.
Oh, absolutely.
Like you think about Tyler Perry owning his own studio and employing others. So I definitely think that it's important to instill a sense of humility in your kid, so that they understand that, the same way that you can go up is the same way that you can come down.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to build up their self-esteem, of course. You want them to be very confident in who they are, and you want to edify them. You want to support them. You want to keep them encouraged. You know what I mean? But you still have to, I think you have to just strike a really good balance with that humility and confidence.
Yes, I agree with you 100%. You're right. Well, all I know is she blew her nose with that $100 bill. So that to me was a dig right there. Like whatever you folks got to say, baby, I'm collecting
I got you.
I'm able to blow my nose on $100 bill. So that's all I'm gonna say about that.
That's right.
Well,
That's
real quick,
right.
our last story in Hot Topics and Gossip for this evening. Your girl and my girl, the one and only Miss Tiffany Haddish, took to social media and shaved all of her hair off. She did a big chop after deciding she wanted a dramatic change. The comedic actress, who had been sporting fake locks during the quarantine, shaved off her head on Tuesday as followers watched her on Instagram Live. And she did. I was a little shocked. I was a little surprised.
Yeah.
I did post a picture of her on my social media page, and a lot of women said that it's really, I guess, refreshing. It's it's a way of freeing yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know. She looked a little weird, and I guess we'll all have to get used to it.
Yeah.
She made a statement that I thought was really, really good. She said, I know my whole body. I know where every mole is, but I don't know my scalp. So hello, scalp. Hashtag she ready to everything. So I don't know, Virginia, is it an age thing that women shave all their hair off? I know some women that suffer with alopecia, things like that.
Yeah.
But I know quite a few women who have decided to do the chop. And so
yes.
So it's exhilarating and refreshing. And would you ever do it?
No. I have friends, and we have some mutual friends that are okay with gray. I'm not okay with gray. I will try to color my hair until I can't color it no more.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you're talking to a person who will snatch a sew in a minute. I
Mhm.
will, you know what I mean? I'm going to do different things. I get bored with my
Right,
hair. So for that reason, I don't think I could shave it and then like just kind of sit there and be like, okay, it's going to grow back.
right, right.
Am I hating on someone who can do the big chop or feel some sense of liberation or freedom that's associated with that? No, I'm not hating on her at all.
Hmm.
I mean, hey, it's yours and you do what you want to.
Yeah, yeah.
Is, like, not to go off into another subject, but you know how like us African American women have struggled with, I'm just saying professionally, how we should be wearing our hair. Like, you have friends on television and how it should be straight and it should look a certain way. And it's interesting because even now I'm starting to see more African American women. Like, I think the young lady's name is Chantel on Good Morning America. I don't know if you.
No, well, Chanel on
Chanel.
on the Today Show.
Okay,
I
today's
got
show.
to give Chanel a huge shout out because Sister Girl has been wearing her hair natural. She has not
Yes.
been blow drying it, hot combing it, or any of that.
Right.
And it
And
looks really
what's her
good.
name? Chapman, Sam Chapman's daughter
Yes,
on
yes,
ABC here in
yes.
Chicago.
Samantha Jackson. Yes,
Samantha, yeah. So
yes.
yeah, she's been wearing her hair kind of curly and everything. So, I say, sisters, do you. Do you
Right.
what makes you happy.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you 100%. All right. Well, Genia, we've
Yeah.
gotten to hot topics, gossip. I told you if you wanted to leave at 7:30, you're more than welcome to because you helped me get through this. You've done an outstanding job tonight. In closing, what do you want to say to everybody and all that great stuff? And then I'm going to bring our next guest on in just a second.
No, I just want to say I hope everyone, stays the course. Like you said, keep their mask on, and just stay vigilant and through this virus. Stay healthy.
Yes. All right. You'll come back and see me again.
Oh yeah, of course.
All right, darling. I love you.
You
You
my
look great.
friend.
I know I love you, my dear.
I love you.
Whenever we're done with this, we have to do a social distance happy hour
Okay.
someplace. Okay,
Okay.
we'll make that happen. All
It's a
right, ladies
date.
and gentlemen, big round of applause for our guest
Thank
co-host.
you.
Help me get through hot topics. The one and only Miss Genia Harley. I
Thank you.
appreciate her so much. We love you, darling. Thank you,
Love
and have
you.
a great night. All
Okay,
right.
you too.
All right. So as we continue on with our show this evening, tonight is all about Black literary work, and I have two amazing authors that will be joining us this evening to talk about their work. But both of them will be sharing a great message of inspiration, a great message of how, in times like this, we need to learn to pivot and continue to move forward. And our first guest tonight, she is a motivational speaker. She's the author of several books. Her latest book is Winter's Lament. She's an all-around great woman, and I think I'm just going to add her into the screen and let's see what she's up to. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Miss Joyce A. Brown. How are you, Joyce?
I am wonderful, Chat Daddy. How are you?
I'm good, my dear. Glad to see you this evening. What beautiful artwork you have in the background, Joyce.
Well, thank you. I wish you could come and see all of it. I have a house full of beautiful artwork, and it's part of what inspires me.
Very good. Well, as soon as we're done with this lockdown and we have permission, I will be there. And if you cook, I definitely will be there.
Oh, look, my mama was from Arkansas, so you know I can cook.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, Joyce, introduce yourself to my audience. Tell them all about your background. I know you're originally from Rockford, Illinois, up there with the clock tower. That's as much as I
Yeah.
know about Rockford is staying at the clock tower. But tell everybody who you are.
Okay, I was born in Rockford. My parents migrated from Arkansas in the late 40s. I am one of four girls, the second girl in the family, educated in the Rockford Public Schools, where I can talk about racism firsthand, but that's not why we're here tonight. Went to Bradley University and got 2 degrees there. Then I began work in a number of community organizations, spending a great deal of time at the Urban League, both in Peoria, Illinois, and moving from there to become the president and CEO of the Battle Creek Urban League, which was the first time that I had left the state of Illinois to live. Ended up living in Battle Creek for almost 25 years.
Wow.
Yep, worked for the W.K. Kellogg Foundation as program director for 8 years and started my own consulting business. Ran my own business for about 11 years where I did work with nonprofits and also school districts, child care centers, as well as the city of Battle Creek. So I got a chance in my career to be a part of a lot of movements that have happened. I was involved when we were talking about teenage pregnancy and people were vilifying young women for becoming pregnant.
Uh-huh.
I had a chance to work on issues of discrimination, particularly with companies who did not want to hire blacks after the recession of the early 80s. If you remember, in the early 80s, a lot of companies moved south for the right to work states so that they didn't have to pay union wages. And so a lot of black men were left unemployed because actually many of them had left high school in order to
That's right.
go work in those companies and never finished their education and were suddenly unemployed.
Well, you know, Joyce, that was a part of our conversation last night on the show that, you know, the demise of the black family. You know, we were mentioning last night that once public aid came around and for this woman to be able to get an apartment and somewhere for her children, she had to let her man go. What I'm looking at is black men have been disadvantaged for a long time, because now you're adding another story of where black men have been disadvantaged for so long.
And I think a lot of people don't understand that. Black men have really gotten a bad rap. That's not to say that some brothers don't do some things right. But as a whole, black men have gotten a really bad rap, because if you think about the automobile plants, you didn't have to have a high school education to go to work at a plant. Or if you were in Peoria and you went to work for a Caterpillar tractor company, you didn't have to have a high school diploma, but you could earn more than someone with a college degree because you worked all the overtime that you could get. You worked during shutdowns, you worked during holidays, and so you were living a very real middle class life. A lot of the people bought houses, sent their kids to college, sent money back to Louisiana, Mississippi, and Arkansas for a family that they left behind. So that's a story that never gets told.
Right.
And I think the other thing, in addition to the very bad job market, was the 80s is also the time that crack cocaine invaded our communities. And so not only were we looking at men, particularly men, it wasn't just men, but particularly men who didn't have jobs, who didn't have the skills to take the jobs that were being created, and they were also being created at a much lower wage than the jobs that they had left. And so with time on their hands, feeling like second-class citizens, even more so, seeing their wives or women, girlfriends go out and get jobs, and many of them became the primary breadwinner in the family. That did a lot to demoralize men. And
I agree. Yes.
And I lay myself in that. We weren't cognizant of how they felt at that point in time. So a lot happened to black families in the 80s and 90s. And so we need to throw off this notion that black men are shiftless, because that is absolutely not true. They were structurally removed from the labor market. Did not have some college, a college degree, a specific skill or talent. You were literally removed from the job market in the 1980s.
Yes, that you're absolutely right. Matter of fact, Joyce, you know, the more I think about this, you might end up with a seat on the discussion next Tuesday night, because we are trying to get as many diverse opinions about really what happened to the Black family, what happened to the Black community, what were some of the elements that was our, greatest demise factors. And you have really just laid it all out tonight. I mean, really, it makes great sense, that the destruction has been here for so long that it may take forever just to change the dynamic of all the, backlash from the destruction.
And and I would love to do that, Art, because that was the time in which I was working for the Urban League, and the Urban League put out this annual report called The State of Black America, which a lot of people didn't read because it had a lot of research, a lot of statistics, a lot of big words, but it really chronicled the demise of the family, the demise of housing, all of the things that people who had left during the Great Migration to come north and west and even to the east slid back. We just slid back, but we didn't have enough understanding to realize that we had to collectively come together. It was a time of great splintering in the community and pitting one group against another. It was also during that time that we were seeing the Vietnamese, the boat people come in. When Vietnam fell, we were seeing the boat people come in. We were seeing them take jobs that a lot of us said were beneath us, but they took those jobs and they began to rise. It's also part of the time when we began to see the Mexicans and Hispanic immigrants come in and begin to work in the fields and take jobs that we no longer wanted. So that is a really torturous time in our history, and we really need to unpack it so that
Yeah.
we can start to figure out how we go forward.
Yes, I love it. I do, Joyce. You have been added to the list of people of people for that conversation next week, because I want people of all ages, backgrounds. We need to really have this dialogue and bring it to the forefront so that people understand that this is something that has been going on with the Black race for quite a while. And I
just not new.
Yes. So now I want to get into the fact that you have been this author, not only this motivational speaker, but in your latest book, you are an ally to the LGBTQ community. I bought my LGBTQ mask tonight so let's talk about how you became the author, not only this famous motivational speaker, but you decided to write about things that are oftentimes really taboo.
Yes. Well, I am a person who people call nosy. I look, I ask questions, and when things don't feel right to me, I put on my researcher hat. I have a PhD in research, measurement, and evaluation.
Oh my
And
Lord, I didn't even know you could get a degree in all of that. Now, you sure that ain't something you ordered it from a catalog? My goodness.
no,
You
you
got
can
to
go
keep.
to Western Michigan University in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and they'll show you my name. And
Wow.
don't believe me, my office is a little messy, but I will
Doctor,
find the right
look, Doc, I believe you, Doctor. I didn't know somebody could get a degree in research like that. That's beautiful.
yeah. But actually, and I say this in love, I have a lot of family members who are lesbian, gay, bisexual. And so we grew up in a family where no one got shunned. You were simply who you were, and who you loved was your business. But we also did a lot of looking and a lot of asking, certainly as young girls, when at that time in the 50s and 60s, the life was very different for the LGBTQ community.
Yes.
People had to pretend during the daytime to be this straight person. And then in the evenings, they would have a lot of parties, and you would see people dressed as the opposite sex, people wearing wigs, a lot of exotic behavior. And so we learned. And again, like I said, I'm nosy, so I would ask questions of people. And so I learned a lot. I think, as I said to you earlier when I was preparing for this, as part of my consultant business, I was often asked to work with groups. And one of the groups that I was fortunate to work with was the Arcus Foundation, which was at that time located in Kalamazoo. The person who began the foundation, John Stryker, who's a part of the Stryker family in the medical field, is an openly gay man. And he was concerned about the lack of support in the Black community for the LGBT community. And so he was willing to put money on the table to work with Black organizations who were at least willing to look at some of the homophobic behavior that they were exhibiting, some of the ways that they were denying services to people just simply based on their sexual identity or their sexual orientation. It was a time when the whole bathroom debate was just starting to heat up. I did that work for 4 years with them. I learned a great deal from them, from the staff there, as well as from the community groups who began to understand that sometimes we in marginalized communities, Black folk,
Yes.
tend to marginalize other folk. We tend to want everybody to be perfect in our sphere, not in theirs, but we want them. And so they were discriminating. It was like, you who are discriminated every day are discriminating against this group of people. The Arcus Foundation brought in some great speakers from around the country, Black clergy who certainly didn't live in Kalamazoo, but lived in other places and talked about how the church enables people to be marginalized.
Right.
It's not asking anybody to give up their belief in God, but to look at how people are being told you're worthless, when yet the Bible tells us that, you know, we all like filthy rags. You just sin differently than I sin. But we're all sinners. We're all saved by grace. And so we had some great conversations. Then, when I was sitting around one winter, this young man started talking to me, Reese Tompkins, who is the person in the book.
Yes.
And you know how sometimes, Art, you have so much stuff bottled up in you that you just feel like, if I don't figure this out, if I don't come clean with myself, let alone anybody else, if I don't come clean with myself, I'm not useful to God, I'm not useful to my family, and I'm not useful to the people that I'm supposed to be serving. And so he is struggling with bad choices. You've read the book, you know he's made some terrible choices.
Well, now wait, Joyce. First of all, Bermuda. So that's a cultural thing right there. That's so taboo. Then to be in the ministry, that's a whole, honey, that's a whole nother taboo. And then to build something from nothing to mega, that's a whole, and then marry.
Yes.
Okay, a hot mess, but I loved it.
Yes. And so but it is a story that's happening every day. It's
Yes,
a
yes.
story that we're not talking about. And I actually said it in the church because within the church, we have people who start out being faithful to God, but then sometimes God kind of gets moved to the side because these other things happen. We all want fame and adulation. There's nobody out there that I know that says, I'm just going to be this humble person. I'm going to have 10 people in my congregation and we just going to be happy.
Right.
Everybody wants the mega church. Everybody wants the money. Everybody wants to be able to say, I got 4,000, 5,000 people, and my ministry does all of these things. Oh, and look at that new building that I just bought. That's human nature. And so even though he is able and capable of doing that, his soul is not working because somebody knows his secret. And as we know in Black America, we may not know it any place else, but we know in Black America, if somebody knows your secrets and they believe that they can take you down a peg or two because you have just really gotten above yourself, they're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that is one of the things that I try and talk about because it doesn't really matter a lot because we're not going to tell the book here.
No, we're not. Yeah.
It doesn't matter what your secrets are. Just know that secrets don't remain secrets. There's always ways for people, whether it's underhanded or sometimes you tell them yourself. You don't even realize you telling your own stuff. That those people then use that to further their own agenda. So it's not just so much about taking you down, but it is about furthering their own agenda. And that's one of the other characters in the book, Nori.
Right.
Her
Yeah.
agenda is she wants to do something. She wants to be you. She wants to be, a personality. She wants
Right.
to know, but she's decided that the way for her to get to the top is not by building community, but by tearing community down, by
But
exposing
then,
not just
you
Reese,
know,
but a whole host of people.
but Joyce, when we really look at it, that's the crab in the barrel mentality that we have been living with for so long. To me, we treat each other the worst. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? And I know I'm gonna get some heat for this, but church people treat each other the worst. I'm gonna pray for you. Honey, I love you, and me and God, we won and all that. And I found church people to be some of the most messy damn people I've ever met in my life. You understand me?
That's another reason why I said it in church. See,
Yes,
because the brother on the street corner, he gonna come at you straight.
yes,
He gonna come at you straight. He gonna be like, Chat Daddy, I don't like that show, and let me tell you why I don't like that show. But when he
right,
gets through telling you off, he goes on about his business. He's not making it his business to interfere with your livelihood. He just gave you his opinion.
right. Yep. I mean, some of the most messiest people I ever met have been people that were church people that consider themselves to be so holy and holy rollers and God is not going to look upon you the right way. And every time I turn around, I say, look like God done shined on me a little bit more today. So I think that it's a time in place for everything, but judgmental people really do need to redirect their energy. They really do need to redirect their energy.
And one of the things that I hope that we learn as a Black community, as a faith community, we got to embrace all people. We don't just have to embrace the people that think like us, because God's kingdom is bigger than that. His work is more important than what I think I know about you, because oftentimes what I think I know is not necessarily your whole story.
That's right.
And he could begin to say, you know, there's some things in my life that I don't want told. There's some things, when I was this, upstanding community person that I did that I don't want told. And I don't want people to judge me and think less of me because they know those things. I want them to say, that is a woman that loves God, that serves God, but she's got human frailties. And she has
Mm-hmm.
often missed the mark in serving God. If
Right.
but we want that justice for ourselves. You know, we want that justice for us. We just don't want to give it to other people.
I love it. I do. I think it makes a lot of great sense. It really does. Joyce, what have you been doing with yourself during this pandemic? I love, how every day now you make the daily trips to the post office to sell your great book. It really is a great read. But, how have you dealt with this? I mean, we're looking at back March 16th.
March.
You get what I'm saying? And here's the deal. A lot of us have experienced health issues. A lot of us have had to be in situations where we had to be in the house. But this is something that was life or death that we had to stay in the house. How have you been coping with that?
Well, actually, I cope with it really well because the things that I do, I can do in my house. I have been working on crafts. I have become a person who makes wreaths. And so, again, when I show you the pictures of all my pictures, I'll also show you all the wreaths that I have created during this pandemic. And the beauty of that is I can go on the internet, order supplies, either Amazon or the U.S. Post Office will drop boxes off at my front door. And I bring the stuff in and make me a wreath. And I am a person who likes being creative.
Yes.
I'm also writing. I have several other writing projects that I've been spending time working on during this pandemic. My mother is in a nursing home. My mother is 94, and she's in a nursing home. So I get to FaceTime her at least once a week. My sister and I go and we do window visits. Her room is on the first floor. And so as long as the weather is good, we go and we just request a window visit. Someone goes down and opens the window and we can sit and talk to her for a while. And that's been really comforting to be able to know.
Is she cognizant of what's going on right now?
Yeah,
okay. And so
she's just old. She's
what's her thoughts and feelings on all of this right now?
Well, sometimes one time she said to us, I'm in here. Why are y'all out there? Meaning, why are you out there when you know that you're supposed to be in this building with me? And sometimes she'll ask for her favorite cake. She loves cake. She's diabetic. But we sneak cake in, and so she wants to know where her cake is. And so befriended the staff. And I tell people all the time, be nice to people who work in nursing homes.
Yes.
They can make your life better, or they can make your life really bad. So you need to be nice to those people. So
you are absolutely right.
We've been able to get her books, coloring books that she loves. They keep her calm. We've been able to get books into her. We were able to sneak some cake in to her and a couple of her favorite foods. So we're just grateful to the staff. We feel blessed. She was tested. She tested negative, and they're going to slowly start to reopen. So we are excited that we're finally going to be able to spend some time with her.
Well, I am so glad to hear that and glad to know your mom is surviving through all of this. You're thriving and thriving through all of this.
Yes.
Joy, how do we connect with you to get this book? Because I'm telling you, ever since you sent me my copy, every day I've been reading more. Before I go to bed, I read more. You almost remind me of some Elin Harris in this. You know what I'm saying? And,
Oh,
and,
thank you.
and
He was one of
Elin
my
was a
favorite.
good friend of mine, huh?
He was one of my favorite authors. So that's a high compliment. That is a wonderful compliment. Thank you.
Yes, you've done a good job at this. Joyce, tell everybody how they can get your book, how we can stay connected with you on social media and all that great stuff.
Okay. Well, they can always go on Amazon. All you have to do is go on Amazon and put in Joyce A. Brown, and you will see the Kindle version as well as the paperback version. However, if you want a signed copy of the book, then you need to hit me up on my email account. My email is joycebrown.o as in Oscar, D as in David, S as in Sam.com. And so if you want a signed book, you can get it that way. I am on Facebook. It's just my little name, Joyce Brown, and you'll see this face with the bald head. I was laughing in the last segment when you guys were talking about Tiffany Haddish chopping off her hair. You see my face, you'll know it's me. It's very distinctive and a very big
Well, look,
glasses.
Joyce, you look good. You look great. We got to get used to Tiffany Haddish. Your
Oh,
skin is beautiful and smooth. You rock good earrings. Tiffany Haddish, honey, I had to catch myself for a minute. She scared me.
will
She
take
scared
her
me.
some time. It will take some time. When I first cut my hair, it was because I was working on my doctorate and just didn't have time, and I was starting to look really bad. And so
Uh-huh.
I made a decision to cut my hair. Then, when I became sick in 2011, and my whole life changed because
I
that's one of the
remember
things
that. Yep, I
I told
remember.
your daughter,
Yep.
is that the medicine took the rest of it. It was already
Mm-hmm.
short, and
Yep.
then the drugs that I had to take took the rest of it, and I learned to love it. I learned to just love myself, and I
Well,
think
you
that's
know,
something we tell everybody.
yes. Well, you know, Joyce, my medicine was supposed to have taken all of my hair out the same way as well, too. And I ended up meeting a young lady who took me in this direction. And here we are 3 years later. But yep, that's the same thing the doctors had told me. You're absolutely right. That medicine is so strong and
Yes.
it weakens everything. And I do remember when you had your health issue. I'm just so glad because you look great. You're just as strong as ever. But I understand that journey of the hair thing with a sickness. I really do. Yep. A
So
lot of people are loving you, Joyce. They said, Joyce, praying for your mother and you. God is still in charge. That's
thank
beautiful.
you, thank you. He is in
Yeah.
charge. We believe that. We believe that.
Yes. All right, Joyce, tell them again one more time on Amazon the name of the book, and they're going to get that book.
Amazon.com, Joyce A. Brown. I also have an author page. And then you can hit me up on my Facebook page, Joyce Brown. All you do is just put in Joyce Brown, and it will take you to my Facebook page. And then finally, I think those two are the best ways. Those are the best ways. I'm redoing my web page.
Okay.
It was terrible, and it was not working for me. So I'm redoing
That's
that.
all right.
Those two things will get you to me.
Very good. Joyce, how did you come up with the name Winter's Lament? How did you come up with that?
Well, actually, the book was written in the middle of a very bad winter storm. There was a storm that lasted 90 days. I don't know if you remember, because I've been writing this book a while. Back around 2015, we had a snowstorm in this area that literally lasted 90 days. And then, excuse me,
Mm,
lament is really things that we regret.
yeah.
And so that's how I came up with
Catch your breath. All right. You okay? Just catch your
Yeah.
breath. All right. Good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, go to Amazon. Her book is Winter's Lament. It is a great book. It's a wonderful read. Joyce, I love you. I'll be in touch with you tomorrow because I really do want to add you to that panel about Black life. And you would be able to give us a lot of reference. Go take care of yourself. I love you, my darling. You did an outstanding job tonight. Your family all said you did a great job. And you guys get them books, baby. Winter's Lament with my good friend, Miss Joyce A. Brown. Goodbye, darling. I love you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Have a great night. All right, boy. What a great show so far. Tonight we're discussing Black literacy, Black works of great book authors that we've had with us. Joyce Brown is an outstanding woman. I just love and adore her. We'll have to have her back to talk more about Black life and our culture. Where did we all fall apart at? Coming up tomorrow night, as you guys all know, is Thursday. So it's Relationship Thursday. And tomorrow evening, we're going to talk about the Single Woman's Chronicles, the life and stories of a single woman, one of my dear friends. She always has what I consider man issues, man drama, man problems, all that great stuff. So she and I will be sitting down tomorrow to talk about her love life and what she's been through and who she is and all that great stuff. So make sure you guys tune in, as well as we're going to meet a wonderful young lady who's a musical artist. She recently had a song that was featured on the BET Awards. It was in a Doritos commercial, and she is really an amazing young lady. The commercial was Amplified Black Voices. And so tomorrow night, we'll meet this young lady. She is just incredible, and she actually had over 1 million social media hits from her song I Can't Breathe. So stay tuned for that tomorrow night. We'll introduce you to her, as well as you'll meet my friend, and we'll talk about single lady drama. That's how it all works. Well, our next guest this evening is a minister, a mentor, and she's the author of a highly spirited book entitled The Kingdom Playlist. And it's a 31-day devotional guide. And she says it's for Christian millennials. Honey, it might need to be for everybody. I don't know if it's just for millennials. I think I could profit from it. I think a lot of different people could profit from it. But this young lady has a story that is absolutely amazing. And I'm just honored to welcome her to the show this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome minister, mentor, and author, Miss Audrey Todd. Hello, how are you? Are you there? Oh, we have her there. Let's see. Uh-oh, we missing her. Is she there? I see you. No picture. Let's see. Can you hear me? Let's see. Oh, there she is. Hey, Audrey, how are you? Uh-oh, is she buffering? I think she might be buffering.
Hello,
hey, Audrey, can you hear me?
Hi, this is Audrey.
Hi, I can hear you vaguely.
I can hear you a little bit. I think
Oh, good. What a beautiful smile, Audrey. We having trouble hearing you, though. That's what the problem is.
Can you hear me okay? I know I'm having some issues.
That's better. That's much better. Much better. So how are you this evening? Uh-oh.
I am well. I can't.
Oh, good. We can hear you now. Good. Okay.
Day, right?
Yes. Well, Audrey, I'm excited to have you here tonight. I've heard a lot about just the things that you've been doing. I understand that you have a backstory that's absolutely incredible. I think that, you know, when people have backstories, it's those testimonies that really do make a difference in the world in which we're living in. Introduce yourself to my audience. Tell them all about yourself, and let's get a little bit into your backstory. You there? Hello? Uh-oh. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Did we lose her? Hello. Uh-oh. Hello. All right, let's see. Are we no Audrey? You there?
I'm here. Okay. Can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you now. Go right ahead.
Okay, it appears I'm having some issues. Maybe
I
some
know you're having a little
signal
technical
issues.
difficulty.
Yeah, it's keep freezing. And
Okay, but we can hear you now.
okay, great. I'll just
Okay, go ahead.
introduce myself. I same, but I am Audrey Todd. I am a minister. I'm a mentor. I'm a foster care advocate, and most recently, I am an author. The author of Kingdom Playlist, which is a 31-day devotional for Christian millennials. And so the reason for writing the book was to really encourage millennials to live their faith out loud and to stand boldly against, the norms that were deemed by society, and just to live their faith out loud and to always remember and to stay true to values and their principles that were instilled within them.
Now, Audrey, I do realize you were raised on the west side of Chicago, West Side, and you had a rough and rocky upbringing. You were actually raised by your foster parent, correct? Are we? Uh-oh, we losing you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I
Uh-oh.
am still having some
That's okay. We're trying to work it out.
maybe. So yes, so
Uh-oh.
a little bit about my
Okay.
story. I did come from foster care. Okay. I went into foster care at the age of 3. I was adopted at the age of 10, but during that, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you. Go right ahead.
Okay, and so my upbringing is what really motivated me to reach out to other young people, because coming from foster care, I experienced I had a quite traumatic childhood up through adulthood. And so that really, really rising above everything that could have broken me and destroyed me and took me out, that really just really solidified my desire to help other young people to break beyond barriers as well.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the biggest issues that our young people are facing out here in today's society? Not only are we in the midst of a global pandemic, there's been tremendous job loss. A lot of our young people are homeless. What would you say are like 3 of the biggest issues that our young people are facing out here today?
One of the main issues that I think is like a global issue is the lack of fatherhood that are in homes, and the lack of the broken homes. That's number one. I think children are more um, capable of becoming better, sustainable leaders and better adults if they have a father in the home, or if they have, a mother, being raised by a mother and a father. I think that is a struggle that we're facing now because of the lack of that fatherhood and that model that was needed to raise and to steer children.
Mm-hmm.
With that being not in the home, and then having society paint this picture of what it means to be successful, of what it means, to be goals, and to have that picture painted, and not having, a firm and solid foundation. That's another thing that's hurting, because the mass media and what's all being shown on TV, and what's being shown on social media, that hurts us as well as a culture, because of the presentation that the young people are seeing.
Mm-hmm. When you really sit back and think about the world in which we live in right now, and you're right, it is the culture, it's what we see, how we think we're living. For you to come up with the name of the book, the Kingdom's Playlist, what inspired that? Because obviously, when I think of playlist, I think of my favorite songs, my favorite podcasts, things like that. So, what inspired you to come up with the Kingdom's Playlist, and how did it all come about?
Yes. And so you're absolutely right. That is actually what inspired the topic playlist, because you think of, your favorite music, you think of, audio files that you listen to. And so my thing was we need to, what are we listening to? What are we allowing to come into our ear gates? And is it what the world is saying? What, what we're feeding, what is coming into our spirit? And so the Kingdom playlist came about because when you think of kingdom, you automatically think of royalty, you automatically think of prestige, you automatically think of someone of high worth. And so I believe that another issue that the young people is that they don't really know whose they are, because if they did know their value and who they were, then they would probably live a more prudent life. They probably wouldn't make the decisions that they make. They probably, wouldn't, go sway too much because they know they are and whose they are. And so the Kingdom Play was meant to get the young people to see that you are somebody, there's value to you. And then there's benefits within the kingdom. When you're in the kingdom, there's precepts, there's principles, there's values, but there's always benefits as well. And so I wanted the young people to really focus in on what are they feeding their soul? What are you allowing to come into your ear gates? What are you allowing to infiltrate? Just like music, the playlist, it infiltrates us, it lifts our spirits, it lifts our emotions, it percolates our thinking, it causes so many emotions. And so I want the Kingdom playlist, God's Kingdom playlist, to resonate within the young people, to say, hey, instead of listening to the culture, I'm listening to the kingdom.
Very good. So if you had to come up with a solution or an equation for all of the problems we're having in Chicago and other major cities across the country with our young people, what would be some advice if I made you the mayor of the city right now? Not that we don't love Mayor Lori Lightfoot, but what would be your way of reaching out to our young people to curb some of this violence and crime? We there?
Hello. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Go. Did you hear what I said? My question? No. Yes. Maybe.
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Yes. I said if I was to, make you the mayor of Chicago or any major big city where there's a lot of crime and problems going on right now, what would be your solution? What would you think that you could add to help curb some of the violence and crime that is going on? We all know the George Floyd story. We all know Black Lives Matter. We've seen the looting, the rioting, and with you writing a book to try to, go towards the millennial demographic, what advice would you want to give them? I know it's about the kingdom, but you as a Black woman in today's society, what advice would you want to give them?
What advice I would give to young people outside of the spiritual aspect, it really goes back to your identity. A lot of young people have been rejected, and I feel like rejection comes from a misplaced identity because of, your upbringing. It could be because of who you've been around and what you've encountered, what you've experienced in life. So I would tell young people to look beyond where you are and to look beyond where and to always to just press forward and to the most important thing that you can do who you are and your identity. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Can you hear me okay now? Okay. Yes. Let's talk a little bit about the book. It's a 31-day guide to helping people become better. What are some of the journeys that we take in the 31 days of the book?
And so in the book, you're going to get, I wanted to make it really revelatory to the millennial generation. So on one of the days, there is a devotional entitled Stay Woke. And so I wanted it to be appealing culturally as well. And so Stay Woke is actually, before it's a, stay woke comes, it's that political term that was used to, raise awareness against, the social issues that the African Americans were facing and, within the African American community. But it's also a biblical precept as well, because Bible speaks about us staying woke, to being alert, to being vigilant of the distractions of the enemy trying to destroy us. And so one of the principles, stay woke, means to be cognizant of the time period that you're in. And each season of your life, you have to use different arsenal. And so what that means is we're living in a time with this global pandemic. So right now, I believe our arsenal, prayer, it would be, communing with each other. That's our arsenal. It would be doing a reflection of ourselves and seeing how we can be better, citizens, and how we can be better people, once this is all over. So I believe that is one of the main principles of the book. Another principle I have within the book is called Eyes Wide Shut. And this is speaking about, we're living in a time where everything, such calamity, it's all catastrophe after catastrophe. It's perilous times, but I see everything, but I don't allow it to hold me hostage. I see what's happening. My eyes are open to everything that's occurring, but I know where my resting place is. I know where I can go and find solace. I know where I can find a safe haven. So that's another principle that you'll find in the book. So it's really just getting millennials to reshift their perspective, because there's so much going on. I mean, every day we have a different emotion. The last person you just had on, she said she was thriving. And I wish I could say I was thriving as she was right now. But I went through stages. I went through periods. During the beginning of the pandemic, I was like crying every day. I was depressed. I'm like, what's happening? I lost ones. My book tour was on hold. I had to postpone my wedding. So I was just all over the place. I
Oh, wow.
Hey, I can't write this book. Yes. And tell these people
you had to postpone
how you should stay
a wedding.
so focused. I yes. And so, but I couldn't let that shift me. I couldn't let that move me. I had to continue to work. I had to continue. And even before I started going, coming back and working and producing in the pandemic, everybody says, I had to take a time period to rest. I had to take a time period to sit back and reflect and say, what is this all about? Of course, it didn't take God by surprise, but what are we supposed to learn from this, through this? What are we supposed to learn? I mean, pandemic, social injustice, economic crisis. You got the social distancing where I can't see my loved ones. You've got unemployment. How do I handle this? I'm going crazy. But I had to get back in my secret place and reshift my mind. It's all about your mind, your outlook. I had to build myself up in my faith. And so that's what I'm telling other young people, because I know I'm not the only person that has went through a floodgate of emotions. But look, don't let this moment hold you hostage. Don't become a prisoner.
Amen.
Build through the disruption. Build through,
right.
Just push.
Who do you think has a harder time getting over things? Do you think women have a harder time getting over things, or do you think men have a harder time getting over things? Or do you think it's equal with all of the things that are going on in the world?
Ooh, that's good. It's really hard. That's hard. That's hard to say. Because it really depends on what they're dealing with. And it really depends on if they've dealt with something similar before. I think women, and I'm not just kidding, I'm a woman, but I think that we can handle things in a better way. Just because I'm a woman. But I think that women, we're more prone to fight. We're more prone to push through. We're more prone to cry and and still walk around with a smile on our face. We are more prone. We just have that grit that's built in us. That's why you need a Black woman, right?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
A
Hello.
strong Black woman, because we just
Look.
have
Hello.
that determined. We are just strong. That's why you need us.
I agree. I do. I really do. So how long did it take you to write the guide? How long was that process? Because you said you were getting married and just this pandemic and all of that. How long did it take you to write the book?
I started writing my book August 16, 2017. And I finished, I want to say, when was it published? It was published in July. I finished it around June, the end of June. So it took me under a year to finish.
Wow. Amazing.
It
So
took me
how
just
can people,
under a year.
how can people,
What happened?
Oh. Yeah. Go ahead. Hello?
How can they connect with me?
No. You were saying
Well,
something had happened. I didn't get a chance to hear that. You go ahead. Continue.
Oh, I was stating that I actually started on a whole different book, and God. Can you repeat that?
I didn't hear we didn't even hear what you said. It was muffled.
I said I started a whole nother book actually, and then I stopped writing that book to finish the Kingdom to start and finish the Kingdom Playlist. And I knew that was God because I finished it in under a year. And the other book I had started, it took me about 3 or 4 years. And I'm like, I got to get through this. And God said, it's a reason you're not finishing that book, because this is what I want you to write. This is what's needed right now. And I wrote it in under a year.
Wow. Very good. All right. Well, how can we find you, connect with you, follow you on all your social media platforms and all that great stuff?
Yeah, so you can connect with me. You can go to my website, which is audreyspeakslife.com, where you can find out more information about me. You can book me for different events. Follow me on Instagram at Audrey_speaks_life. And you can follow me also on Facebook at Audrey Todd.
Yay! She did it! Yay! Audrey Todd. Very good. What a beautiful book cover. Oh, nice. So, Audrey, I have a question. Are you still going to get married? And when is the marriage going to happen? And, was it a big wedding you were going to have? Did you hear me?
Of course, it was a fairly nice size. I'm sorry.
No. I was saying, go ahead. Continue with that, what you were telling us about the wedding. Are you going to still have it, or?
Yeah, it's still going to happen. We've actually postponed it till April 4th of next year. So we just changed a couple of things around. It's still not going to change. The pandemic is not going to really change too much, but I am excited. And so we're going to kind of narrow it down a little bit more, scale it down, but it's still going to happen April 24th.
All right. Very good. Oh, yay. Very good. Give us your website one more time, please.
Yes. So the website is www.audreyspeakslife.com.
All right. Very good.
www.audreyspeakslife.com.
Okay. Very good. Big round of applause for Audrey Todd.
Thank you so much for having me.
Love her. The Kingdom's Playlist. You guys grab it. It'll help you and it'll give you lots of advice. Thank you, Audrey. Thank you. Have a great night. Yay. Beautiful. Bye. All right. Have a good one.
All right, boy, we've gotten through the Wednesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. I just want to say thank you guys so very much for tuning in. We had a wonderful time with author Joyce A. Brown, Winter's Lament, great book. We also just had a chance of meeting minister, mentor, and author, Miss Audrey Todd, and she has written a 31-day guide to help millennials. But I believe this could help anyone who is in the situation of wanting a little more improvement in your life. Her book is also available, The Kingdom's Playlist. So make sure you guys check them out right away. So do me a favor, go over to YouTube and subscribe to the Real Chat Daddy Show. It's really easy, really simple. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button, share the shows that are there. If you've missed any show live, you can always see an encore performance of each and every show, as well as go over to Facebook to the Real Chat Daddy Show. There, like that page, join that page, be a part of that page, and then more information about me can be always found at therealchatdaddy.com, therealchatdaddy.com. All right, we've come to the end of our Wednesday night show. I love you guys so very much. Have a beautiful night. Remember, wear your mask. Allison, thank you for you and your daughter bringing this right in. Wear your mask, sanitize, wash your hands. This is how you do that. Don't forget to keep social distancing. Take your vitamins. Stay healthy. Stay safe. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow night for the Thursday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. Bye, babies. I'm out of here. Good night. See y'all in a little bit. Bye.